Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Dennis from DJ's Classic Garage, and today we're going to go take a trip down memory lane, the history of the sunroof in North American cars. Because before 1967, there was no factory option sunroof in any car made in North America. It was a European thing. BMW, Porsche, and Volkswagen had sunroofs in their cars from the 1950s, and they were installed by Golde uh, Corporation in Germany. So this is the kind of interesting story of how the sunroof came to America and then how it ended up in the Dodge Charger. So let's begin our journey. This is the Mopar Sunroof Registry. It's a great resource. It's run by Scott Rudge. He's a really nice guy. And he has compiled a lot of information on Mopar sunroofs. And the thing for that is Chrysler went all in on sunroofs when they started installing them, even more than Ford or even General Motors. A good resource for anybody with us with a sunroof car because it goes into the nitty-gritty. But especially if you own a Chrysler product between 1969 and 1974, it's very invaluable. So, how did we get here? Well, we're going to start with the man that created American Sunroof Corporation. It was Heinz Prechter. He was born in 1942 in Germany. Now, he always was a car guy. He was always tinkering with cars when he was younger, and and he lived on a farm, so he had the farm equipment he worked on also. So he went into a technical high school, vocational high school, when he was 13, and there he learned the basics of automotive repair and doing like tool manufacture and die manufacture, because a lot of times you had to make your own tools and dies back then. When he graduated from there, he then got accepted into the George Simon Ulm Polytechnic in Nuremberg, Germany, where he studied mechanical engineering. So while he was there, he became friends with Hans Dieter Golde. He was the sons of Hans Tragate Golde, the founder of Hans Tragate Golde and Company. So they were the innovators in canvas and metal sunroofs. And like I said, they're the ones that were putting them in BMWs, Porsches, Volkswagens. In 1961, Prechter decided to come to America to study business administration English at Cal State in Northern California. So while he was there, of course, he ended up working at an automotive place because that was his first love. And he worked for a man named Mr. Forrester. So Mr. Forrester saw he was kind of bright and he had good contacts with the Goldie family in Germany. So he told him maybe you should get into the sunroof business here. There's no business here like that. So he ended up getting Goldie's West Coast distribution contract from Goldie Corporation. And later that year in 63, Goldie and his boss, Forrester, formed the American Sunroof Corporation, and they started advertising in San Francisco area. And here's an advertisement for them. As you can see, it was mainly luxury cars they were going after because it was expensive to put one in aftermarket. Once again, still not a factory option. So they were very good in San Francisco, but Prechter understood that he needed to get to a bigger market, which would have been Los Angeles. So he moved down to Los Angeles after getting his permanent visa or his working visa in 1964. While he was in Los Angeles, he was looking for a place to work. So he met George Barris, who was the custom car king in the 1960s in America. He made custom cars for all the major car companies. He also did the Batmobile. That was his. He did the car for the Monkees. He was the guy. And so Prechter had his American Sunroof Corporation in one of the garages by Barris's office and began also installing sunroofs in Barris's custom cars, including a Buick Wildcat, uh, show car, and a 66, 67 Riviera that Barris owned. So in 1967, Ford Corporation, who had been doing business with Barris, came and asked him if he could put in sunroofs in one of their cars, which would be the Cougar. Uh, Barris, of course, recommended Prechter with his American Sunroof Corporation. So Prechter got the contract with them, and he ended up moving a location in Corsi, Michigan, which was near Ford's main production plant. So what they did is Ford basically would send the Cougar bodies to American Sun Corporation. They would install the sunroof and then ship it back for Ford. So it was the first factory offered sunroof car. In 1967, they made a whopping 200 Cougars. 1968, the Cougar continued with the sunroof, and then they added it to the Thunderbird and I think the Continental. As we can see here, here's an advertisement for the 68 Cougar with Dan Gurney, who was their racer. And this is the Dan Gurney special. And also in 68, this is the second year of the new design Thunderbird. And they had it available in the 3-door and the 5-door, which I don't understand why they called it a 3 and 5-door, because it was just a 2 and 4-door. But as you can see, sunroof, American Sunroof Corporation. So seeing this, Chrysler, who was known as the engineering company, believed they just got the drop pulled on them because they wanted to have all the leading edge technology, because that's what they were known for. So they went and approached American Sunroof Corporation to put it in the Charger. So they put it in the 1969 Charger, and because the Charger was the halo car for Chrysler, that was the car that ran on Sunday and sold on Monday. It was the high-end muscle car for them. And this is a internal advertisement for 69 Chargers showing the whole new sunroof innovation. Here is a 1969 Charger RT, brown on brown, with the power sunroof option. Now, the power sunroof, the one sticking point for Chrysler was that it costs $461 to install this roof into the car. To give it a little perspective, the base price of the Charger in 69 was $3,000. So we're a little less than 1/6 the price of the car was the power sunroof. Most expensive option for the car. More expensive than getting an RT, more expensive than the track pack, more expensive than a 440. The only thing I think was more expensive was the Hemi, and that was it. Air conditioning was $300 and something. They still sold 400 of them in 69. So that was enough for them to do it in 1970. In 1970, at the beginning of the year, it was put in the sales brochures as a major option. And here it is. And it was only available, of course, with a vinyl roof. Also in 1970, the Dodge Challenger was added to the mix. So the Charger and the Challenger both got power sunroofs that year. And those are the only Chryslers that were offered with it that year. 1971, though, was a big change. 1971, they went and they offered it on not only the Charger and the Challenger, but all 2-door B bodies. So that's would be the Charger, and then the Plymouth would be the Satellite line, the Roadrunner. So and the GTX would get it, and also all 2-door Chrysler C bodies, and all Dodge C bodies, and all Plymouth C bodies, and Imperial C bodies that were 2 doors. They did not offer it in a four-door. Why? I have no idea. They may have built some, but all the material says they were just going to offer it on the two-door car. So production went better in 71. They were up to about 300 Chargers, but they were starting to make more cars with the sunroof option. So what had also happened at this point is that Chrysler now also had American Sunroof do side rooms in some of the plants, because Lynch Road and Hamtramck were the only ones that were close to the main ASC facility. So what would happen is a car would come off the line, get pulled on the side, and the American Sunroof workers would put the sunroof in and then also put the headliner in, because they had to. It was basically done except for the headliner. And when we go to my car, I'll show you how it was installed and the little things they did to make it fit. So here is the sales brochure from 71. It was considered a major option because it was, well, one of the most expensive options available. And in 1972, it did continue as a power sunroof. Here it is as a major option. And the big sell for it was that it was like a convertible where you had the fresh air but had the security of a hardtop. 1973 major changes came, though, because of the price of the sunroof. They really did, and how it delayed the production of the car because it had to be shipped out and shipped back. Chrysler then asked for a manual version of this in all the B bodies, and the E bodies lost it. So the Challenger and the Barracuda lost the sunroof in 73, but all the B bodies, two-door, kept it, but it was a manual option. The C bodies, the large cars, kept a power sunroof because their price was much higher anyway. They could absorb the $461 and the delayed time. So as you can see, in 1972, they made 488 Chargers with the power sunroof option. You know, the 72 Challenger, they made 130 of them. And then, of course, the 73, they went to the Charger, went to the manual sunroof, and they made almost 3,100 of them. So it went from 488 to 3,100 because the price went down from $461 to $250. And then the production time was not delayed by weeks. It was done on the assembly line. So this is the history part of our lesson. We'll be going out and looking at my car. So far, if you've gotten anything from this, hey, hit that like and hit that like button, smash that button. And if you want to see more content geared toward these old Chryslers, hey, subscribe, because then you get a little notification when I put a new video up. So we're going to go outside and we're going to take a look at my car and see all the fun things that they did to make this sunroof work. Okay, so now we saw the history of how the sunroof came about in the American automotive business. First with Ford, then with Chrysler. So we're going to use a live example, my 72 Charger SE with the power sunroof. So when you first look at it, and I've taken off the cover here to show you how the cable system works. There's a little gear, and I don't want to pop it off because it's under a lot of tension. And the cables basically are moved by the little gear, and they pull the roof forward and backwards on those that little channel. There's see the cable go all the way back. The tops of tops here need to be kept very clean. This needs to be kept very clean, so to make the roof slide nice. You got it. It's a lot of maintenance to keep them working perfectly. Over here is the front drain hole, and the water goes down. I'll show you where the water goes down the A-pillar. And in the back, you can't see it, but there's the cassette goes the entire width across and back and goes to about here. And at the back of the cassette is another tube that drains out above the back wheel. So you can see up in there. Right up there, that's the drain hole for the rear. Sunroofs only leak if you don't maintain the drain holes, or if you let the seals go bad. But the drain holes are the most important part because they flush the water out of the car. So this front one just goes down this A-pillar down here, goes inside, and it emerges over here, and then it goes down out by the fender. See, right down in there, it goes down. This is a really hard angle to look at, but it goes down that way. The workmanship on this is poor at best. If you look up in there, you can see how it's just kind of like, it just follows down the trim. There's really no thought behind it. Then also the car has the power switch here, which is used on Porsches and some General Motors. I don't think Ford used a different switch, but it's available still today. And this is the cap for your emergency closing. You can't emergency open it, but you can emergency close it, because yeah. And this is the tool that you use. It has a screw head on it, a flathead screwdriver head, and you put it into the slot up there, and you can manually close your roof if something happens and you're unable to close it. So the other thing is, this is a different headliner than all the other Chargers that year. I only have one bow in the back. The rest is all tucked in around the sunroof opening. The panel is pretty heavy. It weighs about 40 pounds because it's steel. And this is a separate headliner piece for the panel. This has to be put in first when you do the installation. It's quite a chore to work on this roof. So yeah, and the final part is the motor is a Bosch motor, and it sits right here, and the power comes down that A-pillar. And see that red wire there? Yes, that's the power wire for the sunroof. That's it, that one wire, and it's up. It attaches to the bottom of the fuse box, where the accessories go. So yeah, this was quite an interesting engineering feat on this car. So hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, once again, please like the video. If you want to see more content, you know, about old cars, new cars, just working on your own cars, you know, subscribe. Please comment. You know, tell me about your experiences. Tell me about things you want to see. I respond to comments. I enjoy reading them, no matter how good or bad they are. It's fine. I like the feedback. And as always, remember to take out your classic car, because you're going to make someone's day, maybe even your own. Catch you down the road.